welcome back to my YouTube channel. So today I want to excuse my appearance also. I'm going to go to the gym after this, but I want to chit chat about a realization that I had last night actually. So I think as girls, we want love. We want love, we want to be admired, and that's just the way of the woman. And for the longest time, since the beginning of my life, I've always wanted that. And at the same time as my character was developing, I became fearful of getting hurt because every time I would get hurt. But last night, I was looking in the mirror and I was like, holy shit, I don't care anymore. I don't. But that does not take away my desire to be loved. So I'm going to drop all the lore on what brought me to this point of freedom. Because I am just like, wow. I can let myself be loved and I can do it without being scared, without overthinking a single thing about why isn't he texting me back? Where could he possibly be? What is he doing now? Did I say something wrong? I'm not doing that shit anymore. I'm sorry. I'm over it. And whatever comes my way, I will be just fine. So let's get into how I actually developed this mindset. So I don't know if you've ever heard like the saying, like you meet the worst man at 19, but it's kind of true. But also it's like, it's just a joke, right? Because you will meet terrible people, not even just men, terrible people throughout your whole life. And it's not, the whole thing is not about the terrible people. Like, this is not the point. The point is that how good are you with yourself that terrible people don't bring you down, okay? So, a little background is I met this man when I was 19, and I would have destroyed the whole world to earn his love. And the whole experience was the most painful thing that I have ever gone through, and I've gone through a lot of things. But it was something that I'm even talking about it today, several years later, like it's still a thing. But it taught me so much because now life is peaches and cream, rainbows and sunshine, because I will never let myself go through that pain ever again. And sometimes that's exactly what it takes to get to this kind of like mental freedom. But I'm telling you all of this because you do not have to go through all that pain that I went through. And I feel like parents don't teach us how to be confident and be content and be okay with ourselves, because a lot of the time they are the main ones who are hurting us, or the people that we grow up with, not, narrowing it down to the parents. It's like anyone that is with us as we're forming and shaping ourselves as humans growing up. A lot of the time they be the main ones that hurt us, and it doesn't, like, we're not ever taught how to have the confidence and the self-respect. At least not for me. I had to learn that shit on my own. There is one thing that I always want you to remember and constantly remind yourself of, is that if you are healthy, if you are able to walk, talk, breathe, live, sleep, everything basic human function, you need to remind yourself, because there's someone out there who can't do that, who doesn't have legs, who doesn't have arms, who doesn't have dinner for tonight. Like, there's people struggling 10 times 100 times more than you across the world. There is a little child across the world from you right now who doesn't have parents, who doesn't have food, who doesn't have a bed and a pillow to lay on. So it's awful, and there's not much we can do about that because of how the world is set up, but just constantly reminding yourself of the capabilities you have is just enough to make you feel so grateful for even being able to experience love, pain, heartbreak, betrayal, because that's essentially all it is. We're humans and we're here to experience. So just always remember and be grateful for what you have, even if it doesn't feel like enough. Second thing I want you to keep in mind is knowing the difference between doing it for the plot and not having respect for yourself. Okay, so sometimes you gotta ask yourself the question of like, am I okay with tolerating this person treating me like shit just for like the fun and the experience, or like am I actually being hurt right now? Is this like going to cause long-term pain? Like that's sometimes, you do things and you hang out with the wrong people for the experience, but you have to know your limits. Like if it's getting in the way of your work, if it's getting in the way of your sleep, and getting in the way of you becoming the person that you actually want to be, like you have to be real with yourself and think about like, okay, is it for the plot or is it for my own destruction? And I should have asked myself that question during my crash out years with this relationship that I was in. It was not for the plot anymore. It started off as being for the plot, but for whatever reason, I kept getting enabled. I kept getting encouraged to keep crashing out, and it was not good. And I was fat, and I was ugly, and I was sad, and I was depressed. And it lasted several years. Like, you know how far I would be had this not happened? But anyway, I'm not mad about it. Okay, I feel like I kind of drifted on to another topic, but by doing these like two simple things, you have a certain control over like who you talk to, who you let into your life, and who you give yourself access to. But if you have these things together and you set intentions with like your relationships and who you're giving your heart to, after that you have to let go and say it's out of my control, right? Get rid of that anxiety of the overthinking of like, what is he doing now? What is he thinking? Is he with another person? What are his thoughts? It doesn't fucking matter. Because regardless if you knew the answers to these questions, you can't do anything about it. You can't. And if someone decides to like go behind your back and destroy the relationship that you're trying to obtain, fuck it, like on to the next. Because at the end of the day, you have those working legs, you have those working lungs, and like at the beginning of the video, like you have what you need to keep that strength and move on from it and not tolerate somebody disrespecting you. And sometimes that's what people are put into your life for. They're not always there to last forever. And most of the time, they're not even there to last forever. They're there to teach you a lesson. And after all the pain and the agony and the backstab and the arguments, regardless of if it's boyfriend, girlfriend, mom, dad, sister, like it doesn't matter. the pain that comes from that, it teaches you something. And don't you want to be taught stuff? Don't you want to get smarter? Don't you want to know what to do the next time someone tries you? Like, you're gonna be good. You're gonna be good. And yeah, it's a quick, simple video, and I hope that it makes sense, because I feel like I barely speak English, but I'm gonna go work out now. And I love you so much. You deserve love and happiness.